Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only comedy. I'm sorry, I can't take it. I apologize. Let me finish that, and then I'll get into what I was. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first, the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing all right. Just kind of curious what that was all about.
Oh, yeah. No, see, we also have Flesh Wound producer Todd here. Todd chilling, I presume.
Better than last week.
Better than last week. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Now, it has been, where at the time we're recording this, 4 episodes have aired of Always Sunny been released, and the most recent episode is the monkey. The gang gets a monkey is what it's titled. And Todd had just sent me a line from it that it was Fatty Armbuckle's monkey, and that goes into another conversation. I didn't know who Fatty Armbuckle was before I even ran into Flesh Wound. So because that happened, I got like a little extra pop from that. And then as I was doing the intro, that message popped up in the top right corner of my screen, and I was trying so hard just because the scene popped in my head from the episode, and it just, I couldn't hold on to it anymore. So I apologize. I don't think that's ever happened on this program, and it never will happen on the program. So I apologize. And
coming soon, Fatty Arbuckle's monkey t-shirts. Just saying. I'm gonna get this one designed. I already got the idea. It's happening.
All right. Now this week we did review, or we are going to review and discuss the film 4 Rooms, starring Tim Roth. Now, this does have 4 different writers and directors. If you're not familiar with the film, that's broken down in 4 separate major scenes. Each major scene is directed by a different director and written as well. You have Allison Andrews for the first, then Alexander Rockwell for the second, Robert Rodriguez for the third, and then Quentin Tarantino for the last. Todd, I'm sure you have the trailer set and ready to go.
I do.
All right, let's go.
This year, Miramax Films takes great pride in extending to you an advance invitation to celebrate New Year's Eve at the Monsignor Hotel, where a dozen of the most unusual guests ever will check in.
We have reservation.
And a lone bellhop named
Dead.
On his first day on the job.
All you have to do is hold the fort. And the night's cake. Okay.
Is in for the night of his life.
Okay, Ted, what's the problem?
I haven't got a problem. I've got problems. Plural.
My children are staying here tonight watching TV.
Get a bottle opener!
If something happens to my children, they wouldn't want to be you.
The 5 of us are a coven.
Like a coven of witches.
An oven full of witches?
A coven of witches!
Tell me that's not a face you can trust.
I can't handle this hotel by myself.
Are you saying my wife cheats on me?
I've got to get out of here. We want you to... I am not gonna cut off Norman's little...
Hell of a night, huh, Ted?
I'm stuck in a situation here which I can possibly begin to explain.
Tim Roth, Antonio Banderas, Jennifer Beals, Valeria Golino, Madonna, Ione Skye, Lily Taylor, Marissa Tomei, and Tamlin Tomita in a new film from directors Allison Anders, Alexander Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino. 4 Rooms.
I've had a real bad night. Oh, really?
Okay, so excuse me, as I didn't cover before we aired the trailer, this film has a runtime of 95 minutes, was released on December 25th, 1995. And by the way, in the very beginning of the film, there's an animation sequence goes through the opening credits. That animation sequence actually created by Chuck Jones,
Oh, nice.
which is not listed in the credits, and it totally is that and it definitely sets the tone for the movie. Just, I mean, we did Deck the Halls last week, which is very slapstick, very safe slapstick. This is definitely adult slapstick. Every time I watch this movie, at the end, I'm ready to watch it again. And even watching this trailer, I just finished watching it an hour ago, and after watching the trailer, I'd be willing to watch it again. And this was one that I just randomly found on Netflix. I was on a queue, somebody had recommended it, and absolutely fell in love with it the first time I saw it. Greg?
This one's a weird one to rate and
fight?
talk about. No. We're not gonna fight because I absolutely love the film. It's just it's so, first off, like trying to tell somebody like what the film's about, and like if you just like condense all that happens, like almost every reaction is what why and so but it's the film. I thoroughly enjoy this film. I don't have a lot of like laugh out loud moments. It's just a lot of like, that's great, so it's a weird, funny but great film. So yeah, but I enjoyed it.
I think there was a lot. So whereas last week had very, very quick punchline, surface jokes, this had just
Punchline.
more like built situations, and built towards a huge climax at the end, which is
Especially the
definitely the
first
case
scene.
for the first scene. Exactly.
Well,
Todd.
here's the thing, because we cover a lot of anthologies on Flesh Wound Horror. We have a couple in our slash miss from that we just finished, and like I love anthologies because you get the multiple stories and you can go different ways. So even if there's one you don't like in an anthology, there's typically something for everyone to like. Like I said, going in, I love anthologies. Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. It's a great anthology. I'll just tip my hand there.
You know what makes it not feel an anthology to me is having previously worked as a front desk agent at a hotel. I mean, I didn't have one of these old school switchboards, I just had a regular phone. But it didn't his night from start to finish, just like having gone through, I mean, I'm not saying like I've gone through similar stuff, but just in terms of events that happen throughout the course of a night is enough for it to be its own movie.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really feel like like an anthology, like you say, even though it is, but at the benefit at the same time is that it always feels like fresh and you can't get tired because you don't settle into this is what the rest of the movie's going to be like, because it changes up and it always, oh man, it's almost like you're watching the first 15 minutes of a sitcom. Like, the first, I mean, everything has such a great build, but I can't speak highly enough of this movie. When it comes down to a favorite moment, I mean, I get what you mean, Greg. There weren't a lot of like laugh out loud moments. It was definitely like situational,
Right.
a lot of which I don't even want to touch, because if somebody has not seen this movie, I'd rather just let you explore and find that out on your own, which there is plenty. The trailer did a fantastic job leaving plenty out for you to enjoy in the final product. But
Good producers.
There's one particular, and this one's actually in the trailer, and I laughed pretty hard when it popped up, but there's a particular scene when a boy throws like a dart to a wall and the camera pans to him and he's just smiling and waving. that actually had me in tears just because of the timing of the during the misbehaviors, the Robert Rodriguez. It was like the pacing of the timing and like something was being explained at the moment, and just the shot just was absolutely had me dying at that moment. And of course, the very end, during the end credits, there's some chaos that ensues. Somebody slips and falls near an elevator, and just it's so hard not to be in a good mood after watching that. It feels I feel fantastic after watching this movie. But I know I just totally listed 2 favorite moments without even asking. So I apologize on that one. Greg?
It's all right. There's a lot to love about this movie. I do really like what you said about it. Feeling like the first 15 minutes of a sitcom, because every single one of those little vignettes, like, I wanted to know what happened after. Like, it really kind of closed things off, like going to a good commercial break, but you did want to know what happened next.
Right,
So
yeah.
that was a lot of fun. But if I were to pick, I wouldn't say this is one singular moment, but the bellhop's mannerisms, like just his walk and like his the way he emotes, as someone who had to like emote things without talking, for a career for a while. Like the way his posture, his walk, his like everything was just so spot on and like brilliant. You could tell everything he was thinking and feeling like throughout that entire movie.
Just to speak on that real quickly, the opening credits, as I mentioned, written, directed, and done by Chuck Jones, but the way his character behaved throughout the film matches the way the bellhop behaved in that animation opening short. So once you were set in the mood, you just he transitioned so well into being a real life cartoon. The facial expressions,
Right.
oh my God, stuff like that, just absolutely fantastic. Todd.
Oh geez, my favorite scene.
You can just say the witches.
It's not even close. It's
Really?
Yeah, I can't say exactly, but it's the final scene in the final story.
I got you.
So you know what I'm talking about without me giving it.
100%.
Just the way it's shot and done, all perfection. But like they bring up the Alfred Hitchcock Hour episode, Man from the South, which I do remember very well. That's where they get the idea of the whole setup with the keys.
I thought, oh, got it, with the keys.
And yeah, it was written by the guy who did The Witches too. Wrote Dolly, I forget his name, but yeah, it was done into an Alfred Hitchcock Hour, which they bring up. So it's almost the same exact thing, but
Gotcha.
Basic premise of the bet. We'll just go with that. So
there you go.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
That scene's my favorite bit. I do laugh pretty hard. So
this definitely qualifies as a New Year's Eve movie because it could only take place on New Year's Eve. The first 2 take place before New Year's. The third takes place as it's happening, and then the fourth happens after it's. And just to speak on something, there's a particular cameo at the end of somebody who's yelling on the phone a lot, and he says a line that kind of it kind of resonated with me because I've said that line. I'm not yelling, you're yelling. I've been there. So that was I got quite the kick out of seeing that. But 4 Rooms gets a 5 from me. 100%. Greg?
If I were to rate it as a comedy, it would be a 4. But as a movie, it's definitely a 5. I just don't get that like super laugh out loud moment, but like it's just a brilliant freaking movie.
Todd?
Yeah, I'm with that, and I'm a 5 on both because I laughed quite a bit. Maybe it was because I watched it right after the other one, but I've always loved this movie.
So we can actually have a slight post discussion here because Todd, how many times have you seen this movie?
Would it come out in the early 90s?
95. It was December
So,
25th, 1995. Thanks
probably
for
about
paying attention.
no, I probably about 10 times, I'd guess.
Okay.
Maybe give or take.
Now, Greg, how many times have you seen this movie?
This is probably my third time.
Okay. I'm closer to Todd, like around the 10 range. And for me, I've enjoyed it more each time I've watched it.
Mm.
You know, and because now it's at a moment where I know it's coming, so I appreciate the setup more because I see the setup and just
Is it
I enjoy seeing the things happen again.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead, Todd.
no, is this like your Clerks because you relate to it, the situation?
Is this my Clerks because I was late to the situation?
No, because you like get the hotel aspect of it. Like a lot of people are connected to Kirk's because they worked in a video store or a convenience store.
Oh, I see. That's
waiting 'cause the
entirely
restaurant-
possible. That is because there's no other movie out there that has a representation of a front desk agent, but
Home Alone 2, come on, Tim Curry.
where they're not portrayed as the antagonist, rather,
Oh.
and him like when he's on the phone with Kathy Griffin, his boss. Which, by the way, the trailer had a deleted scene there. You didn't see Kathy Griffin in the hotel. She was only that was actually a great line in the few lines that she had. Marissa Tomei is on the phone, asks for Betty. I'm Betty. Who are you? I'm Margaret. This is Ted. Let's answer the phone. Pretty solid. But when he's like, I've had a bad night and I'm just gonna leave. Just know that you have to take care of them. Just please take it like that. All of a sudden, like, oh no, I was partying. Oh, now I care. Like, just I've been there. Just say that.
Yeah.
We can actually just say hospitality in general.
No.
Oh no, we have to take care of this. We have to take care of this specific thing or these specific people. Please. Oh, where were you like 10 minutes ago when I really could use you?
Yeah. Although I do have to say, so I've been in the leasing industry for a little bit of time now. I don't think that equates because the short termness of a hotel I think breeds more unique, crazy.
Oh, now we've just opened the floodgates. Now we're in some extra time here. Special edition. So this is going to be the last one of the new year, last Flesh Wound Farce 2021. Let's talk about some hotel stories. I mean, shall we? So here's the thing. Now, I worked in revenue management, right? And one thing that I discovered is that once you lower a threshold, the price of a room past a particular point, that's when you start getting some problems. One morning, so where my boss and I shared an office where we had a window that saw everything that was happening in the parking lot, right? So all of a sudden we see a cop car come in, and then 10 minutes later we see a cop talking to a guy. We don't know what happened, right? And then another cop car comes, and then that cop is now with a female who's dressed scantily. So we had gone to lunch. We didn't find out the rest of what happened, or like we didn't see the rest of the scene, rather. But apparently what the situation was is the first individual I mentioned was going to meet a quote lady of the night. However, this was in the middle of the day. I think like 11 o'clock or whatever.
And that day shift must look great.
Well, what happened is as soon as he walked into the room, she pulled a gun on him.
Oh,
yeah, she tried to rob him. And I guess some people nearby, or there was like a housekeeper that was nearby and heard what was going on. And from what I understood, she was a he.
Okay.
Posing as, yes. So that was mildly, amusing. There was no dead hookers in the beds.
You do wonder, like, do you know if both people got arrested? One for soliciting a hooker and one for the robbery? Or was the guy like, Look, I almost got robbed here by someone I didn't think was a guy. Like, can you let me go?
I don't know if there's any sort of citation.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but that's what happens once you get like below a certain threshold of
When
yes.
it's
And
too
then
affordable.
when it's too affordable, yeah. But then on the flip side, there's people the misbehaviors episode and the demeanor that Antonio Banderas' character had, very similar to somebody, a guest rather, who didn't like the way a housekeeper turned down her room. So she asked to speak to the housekeeping manager, and the housekeeping manager opened the door. She threw a glass of water in her face and closed the door. Like, yeah, that was it wasn't even her that cleaned her room. But so the way he was asking, like, and he brought the champagne, and he's like, it's too late, like, despite being like 5 minutes later. That's pretty, but
All right.
I did love him trying to comb his son's hair and just like pulling it back. Ow, ow, that kid was fantastic. With all his like facial expression, and all that stuff, absolutely fantastic.
He was great. I do want to bring. We're all telling stories. Sorry, we said we're in overtime. Cruise ship life is kind of like a floating
hospitality.
hotel.
It's all in the same.
And I don't know if I've told this on the show before, but it's one of those. It kind of had a feeling of the last scene where you were like, "Really? This is what we're doing now?" All right. So, our welcome aboard show, we try to get everyone up and partying, having fun, dancing, and we do at one point we do YMCA. Everyone gets up and does that, and then we do a kick line. We get everyone to stand up and hold each other and do a kick line to New York, New York. Well, we're doing that, and this gentleman is sitting down. He goes, "Excuse me, can you help me do this?" I was like, "Sure." He was like, "Well, can you do it for me?" And I'm like, what do you mean, can I do it for you? The man pulls off his prosthetic leg and hands it to me to then do the kick line for him while I'm standing. I was like,
that's funny.
All right, only on a cruise ship.
All right, so as you're telling, it's not like really a related story, but another front desk story kicked in their mind. Also relating to a boy and a girl, children, left alone, and there was a situation. So I got a call from them, the kids, like, "Hey, there's this dude who keeps knocking on our door, not the front door, but the door that's like in between the rooms. Like, we don't know him, we don't know what's going on." And so I call over to the room and be like, "Hey, sir, the kids are saying that you're knocking on there." He's like, "No, they're the ones knocking on my door." I was like, "Oh, great. He said, she said situation. This is fantastic." So I called the kids back and I said, "Hey, listen, so he's saying that you guys are, so I'm not sure, what's going on here. So just, everybody calm down. Are your parents there?" He's like, "No, they stepped away. They'll be back soon." I was like, "Okay, let's hope everybody just calms down." And apparently it wasn't calm. Now, at this point, the parents have arrived. And now the dad calls me. He's like, "Hey, dude, some nut is next door banging on our doors talking about God knows what." Like, okay, I'll be right up. So I go up and as soon as the guy opens the door, immediately the dad comes out. He's like, "Hey man, what the hell's going on? You're harassing my kids and you're blaming them that they're the one causing noises." And then he's like, "I know, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." I'm just like in the middle of this yell, and I'm like, "Sir, I'm trying to handle this situation." He's like, "What?" And now I'll say this was back in 2011, 2012, no, 2013, right? He's like, "Dude, what's wrong with you? Are you gay or something?" And I'm like, why did he have to say that?
Right.
In my head, like, what does that have to do with anything? And then, of course, the guy says, "Well, I am gay, but I don't know what that has to do with anything." I was like, that's what I was thinking, but I can't fucking say anything. And then I said, "Sir, we don't want to wake up anybody. Can we just please?" She's like, "Yeah, you better fix it." I'll fix it. Can we at least, start talking about it? And I had the person who was with me hold the door open, and I told the guy, I said, "Sir, I'm I'm gonna have to move rooms for you because the children don't feel safe sleeping. I was like, I don't understand why I have that. He's like, you admitted that something was going on. He's like, yeah. So I had a little bit of a marijuana brownie, and I guess I just had too much. Yeah, he had too much brownie. He was tripping out. So he was the one actually banging on the doors, and he didn't want to admit that he was tripping on a marijuana brownie. Yeah, it was one of those moments where it's just like, this isn't real. This isn't real. There was I still
What episode
feel I'm
was
missing
it?
another. This is that would be season 2, episode 3, early on.
Okay.
Wait, episode 2, yes, episode 2. Because episode 1 is when I start working at the call center. Episode 2 is the front desk. Episode 3 is reservations. Episode 4 is the office revenue management. Episode 5 is COVID. Or I'm sorry, season. I'm episodes. Season 1. Season 1's the call center. Season 2 is the hotel front desk. Season 3 is the reservations. Season 4 is the administration's office gig. Season 5 is COVID. Season 6 is courier. Season 7 is security and trivia host. Actually, trivia host is kind of like in the background throughout all seasons.
How do we not have the wrestling season?
That's got to be in the background as well.
I was going to say.
Because, well, you know how in Curb, each season has its own thing? In the seasons of this TV show that I'm on, those are the things. Season 1 is, and Greg, I know you're like, where's all the Disney stuff? That is for the prequel series. I gotta be able to have 2 separate,
Oh, for young Ozzy.
For young Ozzy.
That show.
I gotta have young Ozzy, exactly. Yeah.
Can we get the little? Oh, he's too old now. I was gonna say the kid from 4 Rooms. He can play old Ozzy now.
Still sucking his toe.
Oh. That
At least that wasn't the Quentin Tarantino directed episode.
Precisely. Anyhow, so this is unfortunately not available on any streaming service. It is available digitally for purchase or rent. That's how I got it. So definitely, I would recommend purchasing it because, like I said, this will be one that you will enjoy the more you watch. I feel. Yeah. I feel each time I watch it, I like it more than I did before. So
I do have to say that is because I remember watching it the second time and being like, that was kind of fun. And then I watched it this time. I was like, this was a little better than I remember. So yeah, definitely grows.
I almost can guarantee the next time you watch it, you'll like it even better.
Yeah, probably.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can try that own experiment on yourself. If you haven't tried or checked out this movie 4 Rooms, go ahead and do so and see if you have that desire to watch it again. But if you do have a desire to watch this episode again, you can. You can also watch a new episode next week where we will be back with a new episode with, I'm not going to say what it is because we haven't made that decision yet. And I don't want to just take, it's going to be 2022 and I want to make it even. I don't want to surprise you guys like I've done in the past because that was a shock factor. I don't want to shock you guys anymore. So we'll be back next week with a new episode. First episode of 2021. Happy New Year. Hopefully your 2022 is better than your 2021. Greg, Todd, anything you guys want to say for the new year?
Just have fun because don't take it too seriously because you'll never make it out alive.
Yeah, like the Raiders in Kansas City.
Oi!
I was
Sorry, it's a Van Wilder reference to bring it back.
I decided to.
Well, I was just going to say, don't drink and drive and be safe for this New Year's Eve. I'm the responsible one here.
There's going to be Uber people. There's going to be Lyft people, and don't be that person to them. Oh my gosh, there's something that's coming to mind. You guys want to hear a whop? I mean, we're on. Listen, if I can just give one last story for 2021, because this one was the good one. Then I say the good one. So because this happened to me over the weekend, I went to go. Ordered something off of Whopper Grill off the app, right? And I went to go pick it up, By the way, if nobody's using the app to order food, I mean, come on, like this saves so much time.
Oh my God,
we would
so
be
much time.
We would be so much more efficient as a society if everybody that could did. Stop being like, oh no, that means they're gonna lose their jobs. You think? I mean, they have other shit to do. They need to stop doing their other shit to cater to you to order food. It just make it fucking easy. Anyway.
Or they have to bring the food to your car for you too, so they still need the first.
Anyway, moving on. I order the food, and then as I pull in, I notice that there is a vehicle behind me that was kind of sped. It kind of like went around me as I'm parking and sped up to get into a spot and came out and like rushed in to order. Not running, but like kind of did like a fast walk. Now, based on how she was driving before she went into the parking lot, didn't make me think she was in a hurry. So I thought like, oh, this dude's going to be before me. I better order before he does. Whatever. Right? Whatever. I don't care. So I'm walking in and I see my order on the counter. There it is. It's waving at me. And then I'm standing aside from the cash, like on the opposite side, hearing this lady order an order for 3,000 families. It was all in Spanish. It was filled with, and then this, and then this, and then this. And I swear to everything holy, my eyes got bigger and bigger and big. Like I had the mask on, right? Because me, like, if the employees got to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask, whatever. But I did this, like, kind of did this look that just like it just as though I was saying really under my mask. And then thank God the cat, like my eyes got so big that the cashier couldn't ignore them. Excuse me, ma'am, 1 second. Did you have an online order? Yes, I did. Thank you. Oh my gosh. People just like, come on, man. Anyhow.
All right.
So that was that. Have a great New Year, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. That's world famous juggler Greg Larson, Flesh Wound producer Todd, and I'm Ozzy V. We'll see you next week right here and next year on Flesh Wound Farce.